Mouth breather. I'm in an atypically cheerful mood this evening, thanks to some atypically pleasant news on the economic front in my personal life, and also some very nice home cooking of my mother's that I've just consumed. And so all the happy vibes that I'm currently basking in got me to think about my definition of what the purpose of life is, and what a what kind of a definition of happiness we should be working with in the life that we are currently stuck having to live. And I've touched on subjects along these lines before, but I've not actually gone down this particular route. So what I'm now wanting to talk about is, so I've had the idea for a long time that the purpose of life is essentially to generate unique experiences, which are unique partially because of your own personality and your own biases as you experience them, but also are influenced by environmental factors in a kind of the new version of this idea that I had today, and really wanted to commit to digital paper, was if the purpose of life is to generate unique experiences, a person might ask, well, does that mean I should only ever watch every TV show once, and I should only ever eat every particular meal once, and I should only ever have sex with one particular person that I'm attracted to one time, or at least maybe like one time every position or something? If the point is to be unique, then why ever repeat anything? And I have an answer for that. Then that answer is, let's take for example the idea that every day for lunch you eat a particular fast food restaurant hamburger, and even though you're always eating this same hamburger for lunch every day, it is likely that on no 2 days, or at least no 2 consecutive days, within short period of time where your personality, your personality is going to change somewhat across years. So if you have the exact same experience on 2 days that are a year apart, you're probably not quite the same person when you have that. But on a day-to-day basis, the variety is going to come from things like, even if you're eating the exact same lunch, you probably ate a different dinner the previous night, and a different breakfast that morning, and a different snack while you were stuck in traffic on the way to work, or whatever. You're going to have a different combination of dissolved food particles and residual digestive chemicals and so forth in your mouth, and so your sense of taste is going to be slightly different, and you're going to have a different mix of things going into your stomach and through your intestines, not to get too gross about it. So your experience of the taste of the food and the kind of weight of it as it hits your gut, and all of those sorts of experiences around the process of eating, those are going to be pretty different on it just about every day. It's going to be very rare that you're going to have exactly the same experience twice in a row. And so my view is not purely hedonistic. I think that we are supposed to have unique experiences basically so that we can think unique thoughts about them. And they're not necessarily thoughts that would sound unique if you verbalized them. Right now I'm thinking, boy, my mom's sloppy joes are delicious. Someone else could have had their mom make them sloppy joes and be thinking the same thought, but it's a different recipe being tasted by a different person, and they're going to have different experiences around it, even if the differences do not translate into words. So even if they verbalize the experience the same way, it isn't actually the same experience. And so that's what I think we're here to do. To transition this into a less happy subject, this is, I may have talked about this before, but if not, I'm going to lay it out right here. This is my belief of why it is not inherently bad to die, and it is not inherently good to live a long time. Because when we are generating our unique experiences and our unique mindsets and personalities, if a person has lived a long time, then they have evolved through a lot of different versions of their personality. You will go through a certain number of formative experiences in your life that will change everything about the person that you are. You might have always hated spiders, and then, one day you encounter a spider and you just suddenly you don't feel afraid and you have no idea why, but for the rest of your life you're not afraid of spiders anymore. So your opinion of spiders and spider-related things, movies about giant spiders and whatnot, are going to be different before and after that phobia just kind of faded away due to natural mental evolution. This is very close to a real-life experience. I've kind of had my childhood phobias transition into new ones over my life, and so I can speak to the idea that kind of thing does in fact happen. But anyway, your perspective on things is going to change radically. So the person that I was when I was 5, 15, 25, and 35 has almost nothing to do with my current 40-year-old self. Even the one that's only 5 years ago, I went through a radical life change about 6 years ago. So at the time, that was a very recent thing, and even as I had started to transition into the kind of person that I was becoming at that time, like, I was starting to become more cynical and less liberal than I had been, but the election of Donald Trump upended my personality even more than previous events had, and I became basically, my political alignment basically transitioned completely away from liberal and completely towards a sort of cynical centrist kind of perspective, just across the course of one election season. So the version of me that existed in the year 2015 and the version of me that existed in the year 2017 would have argued bitterly about politics and would not have agreed on practically anything. So across very short periods of time, you can basically become a completely different person, and so the sloppy joes that I just ate would have tasted about the same to 2015 me or 2017 me as they do to 2021 me, but there would have been slight, even if impossible to verbalize, differences in the experience that I had when eating them. So from that perspective, I sometimes speculate that all of these life experiences we're having are like collected at the moment of death somehow and transferred into some sort of Akashic record, and obviously that's pure speculation, and we will probably never know. Like, it's entirely possible that all human existence serves some sort of vast cosmic purpose that we're completely ignorant of, but I like to think that there's some aspect of the process that I might have approved of, and so the idea that my little happy fog that I have going on from the delicious sloppy joes is going to somehow translate into some sort of valuable building material for some sort of psychic architecture on a dimensional plane that I can't even properly conceive of. It's a fun thought experiment is all it is. It's we all have to believe in something. For some people, the thing that they believe in can just be their own nihilistic self-aggrandizement, but I don't think there's anything wrong with there being a certain number of people like that in the world, even though we all think of them as dicks. They have a right to exist. They have a right to be the way they are. They are one particular version of humanity that, in this sense, I believe that we need them for some incomprehensible purpose. So I endorse their right to be, but not everybody can be like that. And the more different kinds of people we have in the mix, the better we are serving whatever that mysterious, unfathomable agenda that I'm theorizing about might be. So I just like that thought. I do not want to accept that all of this is just mindless dead matter that exists for no reason, or I'm a little more okay with the current scientific theory of, like, the universe just happened to exist and then it needed to create us so that it had an awareness of itself. Like, that's kind of an okay one, but it's still not entirely satisfying. So I've cobbled together the version that I've been talking about for these past 10 minutes as the closest that I find satisfactory to a decent explanation, and so I like to think of that. It brings me hope and comfort as I continue to navigate the baffling and frustrating experience of being alive. And on rare occasions, it means I get to have a nice day like I am having today.